What's up, guys? This is Dim, also known as Jason, and I wanted to do a quick follow-up on the IPv2. Nothing fancy, no fancy intros. First of all, I wanted to thank you guys so much for checking out my original review video. It was really well received, so I really thank you for that. Now, there were a lot of common questions that I see on my video, other videos, and other posts around the internet that I wanted to kind of answer for you. First off, one of the main cons that I said was this touch fire button is kind of useless and it's kind of annoying. What you can do is you press and hold the fire button and the negative button, and that will go ahead and turn off your touch switch. So I could fire it with the fire button, but the touch switch is dead. Second of all, if you ever want to turn it back on for whatever reason, you press and hold the positive button and the fire button, and now I can fire with the clicky button and touch again. Go ahead and turn that off. Second off, this device shows Ohm's law calculations. So for example, I have a 0.6 ohm coil, the same magma that I had for the review, and it shows 2.1 volts at 7.3 watts. Now this device can only fire between 3.3 volts and 8.4 volts. So you have to factor in, if it goes below 3.4, you know it's going to be firing at 3.3 to 3.4, give or take, depending on your atomizer combination. That's as far as the device will step down your power. Now, yes, it'll push a 0.2 ohm coil, we know that. However, keep in mind that you're not going to be going above 3.4 volts until you're at about 40 watts. And then, even at 50 watts, you're only pushing 3.6 volts to the device. So, you're not really gaining anything by putting these sub-ohm coils on here. What you will get the full power band, the 3.4 to the 8.4, is if you wrap something like a 1.4-ish ohm coil, where you can use the whole power band. Now on this, I use a 0.6 ohm because, quite frankly, I love this build in the Magma. The reason why I do it is, if you notice, the coils are directly over the airflow channels. That's it. There's no coils anywhere else on here, and that's why I actually prefer to use the device this particular way. Now, and with this, you can get close. You can get to the 8.4 volt, or really, you can get close to the 8.4 volts. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little liquid on here for you. But yeah, so that's one thing that I wanted to cover, that even though it displays, like I saw people taking vapes at 7 watts saying, ooh, 2 volts is really low. Well, really what you're doing is you're getting 3.4 volts all the way up until the display starts displaying 3.5. So, yeah, it only goes that far. Now, also, battery life. People have been talking about battery life, people saying that 18650, single 18650 and a 50 watt box mod is not the way to go. And I have to actually disagree. The battery life is pretty decent. You can get about 2 to 3 hours of pretty solid vaping, as long as you don't lower the resistance to 0.2 ohm and really just push the amp draw on the battery. You don't want, I mean, obviously the higher amperage you're pulling, again, use your Ohm's law calculators, will determine your battery life. But if you use the 0.6 ohm coil, 2 to 3 hours of battery life without charging, you're all set. It's pretty good. People were asking about the ability to chain vape and heat come into this, and some people were reporting that they were having issues. However, I have not seen a single picture of a device failure yet. People kept saying, I know somebody. I can tell you that I have test fired 50 watts numerous times in a row, and the device does not even get warm to the touch. Now, I don't want to say that doesn't happen. Of course, it's device by device, and things happen. However, I have not experienced any heat up whatsoever. No too hot. No warnings like you get on the DNA 30, especially the clones. So I haven't had any overheating issues. Yeah, I haven't really had any issues with the device at all. And that's just me. There's some people that may not like it. A lot of people haven't received it yet. That's another thing. But let's take a quick vape so I don't have to keep talking. This is 4.6 volts, 35 watts. A little warm, but not bad. Instantaneous power delivery. We've done a lot of battery voltage tests on it. It fires instantaneous power to the requested voltage between the windows of 3.4 to 8.4 volts. Now, yeah, again, just to stress, don't build a 0.2 ohm coil for this. There's no point to it. I'm going to do another video about the Ohm's law calculation and sub-ohming, but there's no point. You really want to use the power band on this. I mean, even for example, with this, with the 0.6 ohm coil, when I go to 50 watts, I'm only using 5.5 volts out of the available 8.4. Again, this is personal preference because I really like the Magma. There's a liquid that I've been vaping that I've really been enjoying, and I like this combo, so that's why I'm using the 0.6 ohm. However, I wrap the K-Fun in 1.4, and it is fantastic, the amount of control you have over your vape. That's where this device just truly shines the full power band of it. Anyhow, without going into a secondary review, a little announcement. This kind of happened for me and turned out to be something very cool and very different. I do a bunch of 3D printing, and I saw an issue with the bottom charge port where I had said you don't want to, charge with your atomizer crooked or anything. So I printed 2 different 3D printed docks. Now, the first one is just the standard dock. Now, it's meant to accompany just a standard micro USB cable, so you run the cable through the bottom, and I'll go ahead and show that to you. And it really makes my life really simple, and I kind of made it for myself. However, I've gotten so many requests to make these available for other people, so I'm going to. So yeah, you just feed it through, and again, it's not a perfect fit. You do have to do this with it first because I'm not including a micro USB cable because everybody has their own. You just slide it down, tuck the cable in, and I have a vertical charging micro USB IPv2 dock. It says it right there. It's not lying then. So that's one thing, and you're going to be able to find these on facebook.com/vape3d. I'll put the link in the description. I'm also going to build a quick website. They're going to be really, really, really affordable. Just remember, I'm going to be printing them and making them all myself. So obviously American made, not mass produced. I print one at a time. The second option, somebody actually suggested this on Instagram. I'm sorry I don't have your username, but I have the same dock, but with atomizer holders. So you can actually have a little vape station here as well as having your dock. And I actually have a second version of this going with 2 atomizer holders on one side, and then I have a square area to put like your drip cap, and then drip tip holes coming. So again, that's going to be facebook.com/vape3d. Again, I really had no intention of selling these, but I've literally gotten about 15 different inquiries on saying, how do I buy one of these? So I'm going to put them out for sale. They're going to be really inexpensive. Check them out if you have an IPv2, and maybe I'll put some other vape related stuff because people have been asking me about 3D printed stuff in general. That's pretty much it, guys. This device is fantastic. It's a game changer in my opinion. It's an extremely affordable price, and it looks like all the prices have gone back up to about 110-ish, but it's still completely worth it. The single box mods and the dual box mods are all more expensive than this. They don't have the LCD screen, and if they do, they're significantly more. This device is probably my favorite device in the arsenal. And like I said, there are some things, kind of in the thing. One more thing, I did forget to talk about this, is that people have been asking about the size comparison to this, the MVP2. So, real quick, I will show you. You will notice that the device is slightly taller. However, keep one thing in mind. You see the extra lip on top here? When you put an atomizer on top, now keep in mind the Magma is obviously much taller than the Zenith. As a regular, straight up atomizer says, the Magma is taller. But when you put an atomizer on here, the MVP2 is taller. Okay, for width, the IPv2 is obviously a slight bit wider, as you can see the gap here. For thickness, the MVP2 is actually slightly thicker than the IPv2. So, size comparison, the only place where the MVP2 is actually smaller is overall width. So it's a really, really portable friendly device, and it's really, really, really fantastic. But I wanted to clarify a couple things for you guys. This video actually ran a little bit longer than I was hoping to, but there's a couple things that I wanted to clarify because I know a lot of you people are either have one on pre-order or really on the fence about getting one. My opinion, absolutely get one. Don't use the excuse that 100 watt is coming. You don't need 100 watts. I mean, unless you have a sole purpose to have a 100 watt device, I can tell you that 50 watts is intense. Especially if you're vaping at 0.1, use a mechanical. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you about that. I mean, that's a pretty steep build, and that's not what these regulated devices are for. But if you do vape, a 0.5, 1 ohm, 1.2, 1.4, even 2 ohm coil, check out this device because it is really incredible. even at a 2 ohm coil, when you put it up to 33 or 34 watts where it maxes out the power band, it's instantaneous. It's fantastic. Anyhow, guys, hope this answered some of your questions. Thanks a lot for checking out the video. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at DimDoes, Facebook and Instagram at DimDoes as well. If you're interested in either of the docks or if there's anything more coming, check out Vape 3D at Facebook, and I'll post these. And I have a bunch of colors. I can print them in, different colors of filament, and a couple different options. Again, really inexpensive, and they'll be going up probably by the time you see this video. So this is Dim. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.